Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody. Welcome to our monthly financial wellness ministry workshop. Welcome to Greater Bethel AME Church, 701 Southeast 43rd Street. There is a place for you at Greater Bethel AME Church. We come with our financial wellness ministry each month and do things throughout the month. Just trying to make sure that we bring information to empower our people as it relates to finance, as it relates to building wealth, and as it relates to just our financial health and leaving legacies. And so I want everybody that's watching on social media, I see some of you all have already said share. And so those of you that are watching us on social media, please share the post. And because this is also a part of being a good, strong, well-rounded Christian, to make sure that we'll have real solid footing and understanding as it relates to financing. And so it's not all about just jumping and shouting, but it's easy to shout when you're financially healthy. And so this gives you good reason to run around and shout. And so we want to welcome you. We want you to share the post. When you share the post, let us know that you shared the post, and share it because you want your friends to know on the secrets that we share together as a village and community to strengthen ourselves financially. And so now I present to you the coordinator of our financial wellness ministry at Greater Bethel AME Church, Kiera Hall.
Hey, good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for joining. I am super excited. Tonight is going to be different from every other session that we've had. Because tonight I felt like the wisdom could come from all of you. Okay. So what I've set up for tonight is 3 different videos. And what we're going to do is we're going to watch a short video. We're going to have a dialogue on the video. And we'll watch another short video. We're going to have a dialogue on the video. And the final video is to send you away with inspiration and excitement to make whatever decisions that you decide you want to make tonight based on the conversation that we had, or maybe you've already made some decisions, and this video is just simply to encourage you and motivate you. So tonight we're talking about income, making more money. And the reason why I want to talk about this subject is because when it comes to financial literacy, I believe learning and being educated on the different type of ways we can earn income is really powerful. And I feel like this is an opportunity for those who are in careers to be able to share some tips. And I think this is going to be an amazing meeting tonight, especially for people who are still in high school, and who don't know what they want to do yet, but to be able to give some insight and some ideas for what they might potentially want to do as a career, or ways they want to earn income when they get older. And then this is not limited to just the young people. We're going to also probably discuss some ideas that we maybe could earn extra income, but just ways to increase our finances, which the truth is, when we make more money, we make more opportunities for ourselves. We have more flexibility. We have more ability to make decisions when we have more finances. So I'm going to play this first video, and then I'm going to give us some time to dialogue on it. So let me go ahead and share my screen. I can't wait to hear what y'all think about this. And when I chose these videos, y'all might not agree with it, and that's completely fine. I want to hear what you're thinking. I want this to be a dialogue, not necessarily we're all on the same page. I want to be able to talk about it. So this first video is Dr. Boyce Watkins. He has a business, I believe it's called the Black Business School. I really like him. Y'all may not like him, but let's listen to him, and let's discuss this first video after we watch this 3-minute and 16-second video.
Hey guys, what's going on? I'm Dr. Boyce Watkins from the Black Business School, and I wanted to share something with you really quick that might help you. A lot of you were lied to as children. And the reason you were lied to as kids is because you were told that the way to make money is to trade time for money. You were told little things like if you work 10 hours a day and you make $50 an hour, you can make $500 a day. And that's true to some extent, but that's a very limited way to think about money. You guys know I have a PhD in finance, and so there's a million different ways to skin that cat. And one of the limiting beliefs that we're taught often as Black people is that you have to trade time for money, time for money, time for money. The problem with trading time for money is that time is a valuable commodity. Time is a limited commodity, right? So imagine you're working 5 hours a day. Okay, fine. 8 hours a day, fine. 12 hours a day, okay, kind of fine. 16 hours a day, not so fine. 20 hours a day, you get to the point where the cost exceeds the reward. You're losing more than you're gaining. You can't see your kids, you don't get any rest, your quality of life goes down, etc. Why? Well, because you're trading time for money, which means that you're trading a limited commodity in exchange for a little bit of money in your bank account. Well, another way to think about money is to think of it in other terms that take time out of the equation. So another way to think about money is instead of saying, I work 10 hours a day, I get $50 an hour, I make $500, you could say, hey, wait a minute, if I sell 10 units at $50 a unit of a product, I make $500. And that doesn't take 10 hours necessarily to do. It could take 10 seconds. It could take 10 minutes. Right? Maybe you can sell 1,000 units for $50 a unit. That's $5,000. 10,000 units for $50 a unit. That's $500,000, right? So basically, the point that I want to make to you right now is that you have to start thinking about money in a broader context in ways that will allow you to easily scale up. It's hard to scale up on time and labor because you run out of time, you run out of labor. But if you're selling a product, then you can scale up seamlessly without it costing you in terms of time and energy and happiness and just general quality of life. You don't want to invest so much time into a job that it starts to decay on your physical health. A lot of people get very, very sick because they're trying to work hour after hour after hour, and you're not just built that way. Most of us can't do that into old age, whereas you can sell units forever and it doesn't affect you at all. You can sell units when you're dead. So that's the little thing I want to share with you today. If you want to learn more about this type of stuff, we have a lot of different programs in the Black Business School. One in particular you may like is at the URL howtosellandmakemoney.com. That's howtosellandmakemoney.com. Feel free to go check that out. And if you don't like that, that's fine. Just talk to our people at the Black Business School. We can help you think about money in a broader context that will help you to achieve the goals that you and your family have. I'm Dr. Boyce Watkins. I'm out of here. Have a good day. I'll see you guys soon. Take care. Bye-bye. Peace.
I'm not supposed
All right, so that was the first video. I'm gonna go ahead and stop sharing. He talks so fast. I wish I could like slow him down a little bit. You gotta like focus and pay attention because he talks so fast. But what are your thoughts when you see that, when you hear what he's talking about? What are you thinking about it?
I agree with him. Like in my profession as a pastor, I only have so much time, and because my profession is a life calling, there's not, I can't say, well, I can just go to this place or go to that place. I understand that there's a max salary, and even though I might say, well, I'm more valuable than that salary, I have to. That's what I have to do, and so but I have to give all of my time to that profession. I can't go and say that I'm going to put time into another way to, and so in my money making opportunities, I have to find things that are not affected by time, that don't require my time, because I can't take anything away from pastoring. And so there's something like real simple. People might say it's kind of silly, but it makes me good money. There's something real simple that I do, and you have to work your way up to having good credit to be able to do it. But when you have good credit, people throw money at you, assuming that you will not be disciplined. And so you get these things. We get these things, in the mail all the time. People say, hey, you can get, so much cash for 14 months, no interest. And so you can go and get, $5,000, $10,000 worth of cash for 14 months and no interest, as long as you pay it back in those 14 months. And so they assume that people are not going to be that disciplined, pay $1,000 a month or whatever to get it paid off. But, but if you're disciplined, what I prefer doing, instead of using my own money, I go and take somebody else's money, and I'll go and get $5,000. Let's say let's make it simple so we can use terms that I can calculate in my head real quick. Let's just say I'll go and get $1,000 from a place, and they say in 14 months, no interest, 14 months, just pay us back the balance in 14 months. So I have a 14 months to pay back $1,000. And then what I'll go and do is invest in something like Bitcoin or a real solid stock. A solid stock that's not too risky, but just make me about 20%. Make me about 20%. And so that's not a lot, but it's enough. And so each month, if I spent if I spent that $1,000 each month, I'm going to have a gain of 200. I take that gain, pay on that 1,000 each month. Take that gain, pay on that 1,000, and then it's not even going to take me 5 months. In 5 months, I paid them their 1,000, but I still have their 1,000. So the reality is they gave me 1,000 to go and make money. And so I do little simple things like that right there to make money. But I do it with larger numbers. I just needed to be able to calculate it. But I do simple things like that to where they don't take my time, but I can still make money. And I know I don't have to be a high risk thing, because it's easy with stock market or your Bitcoin or something like that. It's pretty easy to make 20%. It's a little harder to make 70 and 60 and 70%, but it's pretty easy to make 20%. And when people just want to give you money thinking you're not disciplined, but you're disciplined, you can do what they do to us, because they take our money and they make money off our money. And so we can turn it around, but we have to discipline ourselves to have, the kind of credit to where they want to throw that money at you. But then it doesn't take a lot of your time. So I fully agree with him that time is valuable, and a lot of us don't have the choice to just go and spend another 6 hours a day somewhere else.
I love that idea. I want to learn more about Bitcoin, whatever, because I don't know anything about it. My son does, but I would love a tutorial, a trip through investments like that, because I like that idea, and I would like to do something like that. For me, I've gone the old-fashioned route, which really is not that glamorous, and it is labor intensive, but and I've only done it once, I believe, so I can't say I've done it more than once. But yard sales. When I go through my home and I see things that are usable, I don't just throw nothing out. I put it in that yard sale. For instance, I had a sewing machine that was practically brand new, and discovered that, well, I honored my grandmother by making that one thing that was perfect that says, Grandma, I didn't forget. But I don't want to do this anymore. So I was able to sell that, and the serger and a number of other things at my yard sale. And I made a pretty hefty amount. So that's one way that I do it.
That's good.
Yes. And I love how we're taking this on just like a sharing personally how we do it. So something that I've done is I've written a book. So now the book is written and it's on Amazon. I'm going to start marketing more for it, but the work is done. And as I market, people are purchasing it, even when I'm asleep. So I'm really excited about that. And, I have my audiobook coming out, but there are, I feel like anybody could write a book. Just because there is a book on a topic that you know about doesn't mean that you can't write that book too. So there are tons of books on the same topic, and it doesn't matter, because somebody will decide that they like the way that you communicate it and want your book. So that's something I've done. Another thing I was looking at, for me personally, I'm in the commission world, and sometimes after a deal is closed, I look at like how many hours did I actually spend on that, and how much did I make from it versus if I was just getting hourly pay. And I find that from the commission world, the amount of hours that I put into being able to close on a loan, that it's actually less hours. So I'm maximizing and getting more. That's still time, but I'm figuring out how to make my time more efficient and maximizing on it to get more money for the time. And so commissions has been something that I found super helpful. And then something that I plan on getting into, my friend is doing this and she's making a killing. She has taken a property and she is Airbnb-ing it. So not renting it out. She's only doing short-term leases, and she has been making a minimum double her mortgage payment every month. And that's profit. So that's after she's hired people to come in and clean. And so that's something that I'm very interested in doing as well, getting into the real estate investing, but that's totally another way. And there are so many different things out there. Like, you have network marketing opportunities, you have sales, you have online courses where you can literally create an online course and then sell it. And so you recorded yourself and you've gone through a topic and people can buy it even when you're not here anymore. So it'd be something you leave behind for your family. Now, the other way that you can earn more money is you can get a license or a degree, but you have to be intentional about what you're getting and, like, research the field. But there are some fields that pay really great and don't necessarily require all of your time, so that you can still enjoy that lifestyle and bring in the income because you've researched and become an expert in that field to get paid really well.
I think our community also needs to really pay real close attention to what's going on. A lot of people didn't like when I said it back at the beginning of, we were in COVID and you had all of you had the protests going on, you had a lot of stuff going on, you had a lot of businesses being shut down. What that did is created some opportunities. And so specifically, like in our communities, many times in our communities, other people come in and then they make, because we are consumers, we spend a lot of money. I see the statistics, they're not in my head right now, but we spend, Black people spend more than whole countries. And so we have the resources. We just have not been, we have not utilized the most skill in trying to build wealth, but we have the resources to build wealth. And I think there's been some vacuum, there's been some voids left in spaces where we could really just pay attention. I know we have a cousin that's in the Atlanta area, to where they just opened like this candle shop, and it appears to be going really well. Just before COVID hit, one of our cousins that's in the Clay County area, they opened this place to where you can go and people really get into it, to where you can go and like create things. I forgot what it's called, but it's like an AR, I think it's AR Creative or something like that. But it's in Clay County. But they did their research and they found that there was an audience in that area. And then now it just handles itself. And even during COVID, some kind of way they were still able to maintain. And then now things are loosened up. And so I think if you do your homework, you count the cost, you find the voids that are out there, and then you go and you try your hand at it, but don't try everything. If you got 10 eggs, don't put all 10 of your eggs in that project, but go and find 2 or 3 things that you can, after you've done your research and investment, and try it, and create opportunities that will create other opportunities. But we really have to do our research and see the voids that are, look at the stores in your communities that are shut down and see if that need is still there. I think in Southeast Gainesville, it would be amazing, and I know grocery stores are high risk types of business. So it's probably, I wouldn't recommend this unless you really know what you were doing, but there's a major void as it relates to grocery. And then, and city government will probably offer incentive because that's it's not technically considered a food desert. But if that was considered an urban area, it's considered suburban. But if that was considered an urban area, that would be considered a food desert. So I think if you do your work, look around, and take a couple of your eggs and try some things, I believe we'll find out, and not be afraid to fail. And I believe we'll find out we can do some things that our children's children can benefit from, but we have to do that work also, that homework.
I forgot to mention YouTube. People are making money on YouTube. I'm like, I need to hurry up and get my kids' stuff set up. That way they could be talking about toys and getting people to watch. Like, people just are watching just to learn about this toy, and they're getting paid from advertisement. But there's, like, honestly, whatever you enjoy doing, there's probably a way to get paid for it. Like, I was just researching, and I was seeing like people get paid to do poetry. Somebody likes to sing. You can, record a song and get it on iTunes, and just different music platforms. But I was seeing that, like, I know a guy who gets paid. He loves fishing. So what he does is he charges people to take them fishing with him on his boat.
And I would pay, because I like the idea of catching fish, but I don't have the skill set to do it. But I would pay somebody to help me get a fish on a hook and pull that thing in.
And so he is going fishing like he wants to go anyway, and he just takes people with him, and they pay him for it. I was like, I want to go. Because he does like deep sea fishing and everything.
And the reality, he's taken his skill and now he's monetized his skill. And so what he knows how to do, he's learned how to make money, just like LeBron James knows how to play basketball. And so he's figured out how to make basketball make money for him. And all of us have different skills. We just have to connect with the right people that can help us see value in that skill set that we have, and then put a plan together, to make that skill set make money for us.
This morning, was it this morning? Anyway, it was sometime, maybe it was yesterday. I saw a Black woman who had been doing arts and crafts basically, but she was making flowers, and she was going to set up a storefront to do it, and COVID hit. Well, she was, very innovative, and she put together all of the packets. And so she's become extremely successful at selling the arts and craft packets. But not only that, if you have a group, sort of like with Mary Kay, she'll have a party online with you. She'll send the packets to everybody at the party, and then she will be instructing them how to put the little flowers together. And this is just making flowers.
Mm-hmm.
And she's doing very well at it. So she's using not only an interest, but a skill that she has to make money.
I think it's important to value what's in you. If God put it in you, I think if we can learn to value the gift that God has put in us, but then not only value it, do the research, do the work, do the study to find out how to get the most out of that gift. Literally anything that we want to do, I think that we could be successful at it. But I think the key is to find out how to get what's inside of us, how to get that thing producing for us. And even if you have to reach out and find help, somebody that can help you do that, it might be well worth the money. But I think all of us have something inside of us that adds major value to our lives. But I think the key is trying to figure out how to get that thing to actually produce the value.
Yes. So let's go ahead and watch this next video. I'm going to go ahead and share it, and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to have a discussion based on this video.
Hey, what's up, guys? I'm Dr. Boyce Watkins from Your Black World and the Black Business School, and I was thinking about something just now about making money, and I hear a lot of people talking about how to make money and different ways to make money, and there are some people who think that becoming a professional athlete is a way to make money, or becoming a rapper is a way to make money, or going to college is a way to make money, and I find that really interesting because sometimes you hit the mark, sometimes you don't. What happens a lot of times is when you talk about making real money, like getting into that top 1%, excuse me, there are people who get there. Sometimes they get there deliberately, sometimes they get there by accident. One thing I can tell you is that the people who get to the 1% usually don't get there by accident. They're usually people that teach them the things they need to know in order to get there. Also, when you're talking about people that use sports to make money, most of them never make money. People who use education to make money, they usually make a living, but they never really make a fortune because education at the college level isn't designed to make a fortune for you, right? It's designed to prepare you for a job. Jobs are not built to get you rich. Also, the only thing guaranteed about going to college in many cases is a big expense, and typically debt. And for half of all black college graduates who default on their student loans, there's bad credit that comes with that, as well as an economic burden that can last you for a lifetime. So here's what I was thinking about. A lot of people, when they talk about what it means to make money, how to make money, how to make money, how to make money, I think that in a way it's almost like somebody saying, how do I become a great wide receiver, right? So there are some people who say, oh, well, maybe if you want to be a great wide receiver, join the track team because then you'll run really fast and you can run really fast and catch the ball or whatever. Or join the football team if you want to be a great wide receiver. That might make sense too. But really, the best way to be a great wide receiver on the football team is to practice the specifics of what a wide receiver does, right? The specifics on how a wide receiver creates space, how a wide receiver knows how to cut, how they can run their routes, how they know how to focus on the ball. Literally tailoring. What I'm saying is tailoring your skill set to what a wide receiver does. Same way with being a great ballerina or being a great soldier or whatever. You find the thing you want to be and you tailor your education and your training to that specific thing. So when I talk to most young black people, I hear a lot of young black kids say, I want to be rich, I want to be rich, I want to be rich. So does the statement I want to be rich, does that mean I want to go to college? It might not. Does I want to be rich mean I want to be a rapper? It might not. Does I want to be rich mean I am supposed to be a carpenter? It might not. But what definitely is true is that saying I want to be rich means you want to be rich, right? Which means that you want to be trained to be rich. Which means that the best way to learn how to make money is to learn how to make money, right? So that means that if I were a person that wanted to learn how to make money, I would learn how to make money, right? Maybe that some of that involves a little college, maybe some of that involves a little, entertainment, maybe some of that involves sports, but I'm going to sit down and specifically learn the specific things necessary to learn how to make money. The number one reason a lot of our young people don't have money is because they never learn how to make money. Like seriously, what classes are there out there? What educational programs are there out there on how to make money? That's it, just how to make money, right? This is something I just thought about. I've circled around this idea for many, many years. And it took me a while to get here. And I know a lot about money. I mean, that's all I've been studying since I was 19 years old or 18. And I think it's kind of interesting because if you think about it this way, imagine if, you know, 10, 20 million black kids all took a class when they were young on how to make money. Doesn't matter how to make all the different ways to make money. What does a business model look like? What are the primary paths to wealth? Meaning, stock investing, real estate investing, entrepreneurship. Those are the three major ways that people make money. How do you serve a customer? How do you establish a business? How do you figure out what the business model is going to be? How do you engage in the production, distribution, and monetization cycles of the entertainment industry? Right? How do you make money? I believe that if most of our kids took a class specifically called "How to Make Money," I bet a lot more of our kids would, I don't know what, learn how to make money. So it sounds crazy. It almost sounds circular. It sounds weird. Dumb people are not going to get what I'm saying. They're going to look at me like I'm crazy, like I'm just talking. They're going to be like, "Dog, that sounds stupid, man. That sounds stupid." People like that, okay, we'll get to that later. But for those of you who get what I'm saying, I want you to internalize that and literally, if you just understand this idea for your kids, for yourself, for anybody that you love, if you want to learn how to make money, learn how to make money. Study people who are making money, figure out the processes for making money, look at every industry, figure out where the money is, because there's money everywhere. Money is like oxygen. There's oxygen all throughout the air, but if you don't think about it, you'll never see it. You'll just be breathing it in and breathing it out. And if somebody takes the oxygen out of the room, you wouldn't know what to do, right? But a person who studies oxygen and studies air, and that's all they think about, that person would have insights that another person would not have insights on. So money is like the air. Start studying the air, and then you'll be breathing all. You'll never run out of oxygen. You get what I'm saying? I hope you get it. Anyway, if you want your children to join any of our programs on how to make money, we have great programs in the Black Business School and our Black Business School for Children. You can go to blackmillionairesoftomorrow.com. That's blackmillionairesoftomorrow.com. Feel free to go check out blackmillionairesoftomorrow.com for your kids, for yourself. If you're an adult, you want to join with your family, go to theblackbusinessschool.com, THE. That's theblackbusinessschool.com. We're going all around the world, speaking, the gospel of wealth building, how it works, and that's what I do. That's my life. That's what I'm dedicated to. So hit the thumbs up button, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. I'll see you guys soon. Take care.
I definitely want to hear what y'all think about that one.
Yeah.
I definitely want to hear what you think about it. I feel like it was simple yet very profound.
Yeah, I think, and we have a lot of people on here that don't have their cameras on, and don't feel pressure. You don't have to turn your cameras on, but if you want to comment, the people that are on the Zoom platform, you don't have to turn your cameras on to comment. I'm gonna tell you something that's real. What he said is, makes all the sense in the world. Only thing that if you got sensitive about him calling you stupid, that's on you. But everything he said, it made sense. If you want to know how to make money, you gotta learn. And I'm tell you something, and it's a little bit of money. It wasn't a lot of money, but it probably a lot to them. My son and my brother-in-law that we raised, when they were YPDers, which if you're not an AME church, that's young people's division. When they were YPDers, they used to have to sell candy for fundraisers to raise money for the youth department. And so what they started doing, they said, well, shoot, we're raising all this money for the youth department. They started going to, it was Sam's, used to be on 13th Street. They started going to Sam's, buying candy in bulk, taking the candy to school, selling the candy, taking the profits, going and buying more candy. Taking the, and they were making a good profit. I'm talking about these boys were going and buying like $75 a week in candy. They were making so much money at that school to where the school made a new rule that you can't sell, because they was hurting the vending machines. That you can't sell candy like that on campus. But just the desire to do it. If you want to do it, go and figure out how. They learned from YPD. They learned from YPD. YPD probably didn't know they was teaching them that, but they learned how to go and produce a profit from YPD. And they took what they learned and said, well, we're gonna make some ourselves. And they were serious about their money. They made sure that they whatever they needed to go and put in. And so I think in life, I think that if we do what he said and go and learn how to do it, because a lot of people try, but if you don't know how to do it, it's going to be frustrating because you're going to waste it. You're not going to be efficient. But go and learn how to do it before you try to do it. And then when you start experiencing its success, be disciplined about it. Act like you've been there before, and use that to produce more. I'm like Kira. I would like to think what some other people think about that.
Yeah, I want to share real quick. I was selling candy too.
I know you was. I just wasn't gonna put you out there because you was on the line.
I was selling candy, but by the time I was selling it, you weren't allowed to do it, but I was still selling candy anyway.
Underground.
But I had a relationship with some of the deans and stuff, and I used to put it in my little lunchbox. And I remember one time I got in trouble because I was making these long distance calls, so the cell phone bill was like $200 over, and I was able to pay that off with about a week worth of candy sales. So yeah, I was definitely selling candy, but I like how he pointed out to find who's successful in it and to study on it. So in my career as a mortgage lender, I have these goals. And I found out there's a guy in Tennessee who's already doing what I want to do. And my supervisor told me about him. So I reached out to him. I messaged him because he's in the same company. So I used the company messenger, told him I heard about what he was doing and I want to get like him. And he took the time out to like give me the breakdown of exactly how he built his mortgage career, and was like, if you ever need help, let me know. But I feel like we have to be willing to find people who are successful at what we want to be successful at and ask them. And maybe they don't give you an answer, but typically what I found is that people are doing well, they generally like to help other people and feel good about sharing that advice. So I just want to put that out there that I think he made a good point about what I found studying it and figuring out what you need to learn to do that. So I just wanted to say that.
Because I think what the learning does, it opens up the opportunity for more. The more you learn, now so this, this time it might be a venture to where I might only be making, 20, 25,000 a year. Okay, but what I learned in that venture, now I'll apply those skill sets to a larger venture, and I keep building on that right there. And it doesn't mean I have to turn loose to 25,000 a year, because we're still building that. But now I can take those skills and apply them to another venture that might be a totally different area, and hopefully it is a totally different area that I'm trying, but taking all the knowledge that I'm gaining. But like you said, you got to learn. You can't get around learning. You can't be a person that don't like reading. Some of our people don't like reading. You can't, you got to learn. You got to get information that you don't know. And yeah, you can get some of it on a video, but you're going to have to open up a book sooner or later and read about it. But you have to be open to learning.
Yeah. And when my dad just shared what he shared, it made me think about it. For 3 years, I was like on one path and super like, I had the blinders on and I was doing horrible at it. Like I was working really hard. I was learning a lot. I was investing, and there was just like really no fruit coming from it. And my dad just threw out the idea that, hey, you're putting a lot into it. You're not really seeing anything. Maybe you might want to consider something else. And through like I prayed and I fasted because I really wanted to see it through and not quit, not give up, and be successful at that thing. But I just felt God leading me through prayer and fasting that I needed to let that go, sit it down. And I ended up where I am today. And, I look back and I'm like, man, my first commission check where I'm at today was more than I made all of last year and the other thing. And I'm just so excited about what's lined up, as far as my success goes. So I'm not trying to tell anybody to quit what you're doing, but in my book, I talk about assessing and adjusting, like just making some assessments, kind of seeing where you are. Maybe it is a good thing, but maybe not for you. Maybe it is good for you and you need to adjust yourself. But if you're giving all, like if you're doing your best and you're giving your all and still not seeing some fruit, you might want to consider changing the soil so that your fruit can grow, right? So that the seeds can grow that you're planting, and you can, because it could be so tiring to not see fruit for your effort. So yeah.
Joan Jones had her hand up. Joan Jones, you had your hand up?
No, I didn't.
Oh, I'm sorry. I saw a white hand. I thought that was yours.
I had something to say. Okay. And I guess in just listening to what was said, it made me just think about how you have to transform the way that you think. You got to renew your mind, because you're so accustomed to working to make money. So this idea of learning how to make money, I don't think we really put a lot of effort in the idea of learning how to make money, because my goal is really to make it. So I'm looking for a job that I can do so that I can make the money. So as I was sitting here, and the thing that I'm pondering on is really rethinking the idea of learning how to make it. And so studying ways to make money versus just going out there and doing. And sometimes instead of doing, we got to stop and reflect, because the doing may not lead to the greater good. And so it seems so simple, yet I think it's hard because that's not what we're conditioned to do. I go to school, and the whole point of going to school is so that once I get a high school diploma, I have a document that's going to allow me to be able to take the next step to get a job or go to higher education. And so all of that is supposed to lead me to a career, a job. But through the whole process, I'm not thinking about, or I don't think that I was taught, or I was teaching my children that while you're doing this, let me show you how to make money. And so as he was indicating, as he was talking, you know, there are things that you do, and people who are out there that really master this, and there's an art to the idea of making money, but it sounds so simple, yet it's complex, if you get that.
Yeah, I want to kind of piggyback on both of all of these comments. God bless me with the talent to write. I've written a couple of books and edited and very many essays, et cetera, et cetera. But in order to get those published, I had to learn how to do it. The one thing I haven't done is publish my fiction, which is going to be, because you don't make money with the other books, but the fiction writing may be where I can make money. But in order to do that, you must study and learn from the people who have written books. You hear me talking about Toni Morrison all the time. She is a perfect example of a person who, if you read her text, if you look at what she's doing, you can then learn how to write. So even with something that you have a natural talent for, you must learn how to make it a success, because that success will then bring you income. So yeah, I'm piggybacking on all of this. It's good stuff.
And then I think what happens is you start seeing learned behavior. And so when you practice things a certain way, and there's a mentality that you're thinking, I'm not just out there, you know, just working to make, I'm learning how to make money instead of working to make money. And then you begin to practice that behavior. I think your children, the people in your household see it. And so now this is where legacy begins to come, because they saw it. So many of our people struggle because they never saw it. And so now they have to learn it from a bad, it's unfortunate and it's embarrassing, but I hear so many Black people saying, hey, if I had to work for mine, my children gonna work for theirs, I ain't giving them nothing. Oh, come on. Because so that means that if you started here, you're gonna make your child start here, as opposed to giving them the ability to start here because of what you put in them and what you and the lift that you gave them. But for whatever reason, you want them to start here. You don't trust the training that you provided for them to have the discipline that because what's going to happen if they start here and now they move up to there, I mean, they're that much higher than where you were, where you finished off. And so we have to get into the mindset of understanding it's not just about my life. You know, let's look at this thing scripturally, and what I'm doing, I'm trying to create something that my children's children can taste. And when you stand, and that begins to be wealth building. And so yeah, I think even this mindset, when our children see us thinking this way and operating this kind of discipline, you start seeing it happen. Now my children, now their children, and then now you begin to build wealth in a way that you start thinking about legacy.
That is very true. That is such a good point. I believe that I have the freedoms to even embark on the things that I want to embark on because my parents have not made me start at ground zero. So I didn't have to think about things that a lot of my peers might have to think about. I was able to start, my parents built a platform so I could start here. And now, because I have that elevated start, I can start thinking earlier about certain stuff and working on things, then have that freedom to embark on these things. Because, you know, sometimes some people who are listening might be working full-time plus overtime or 2 jobs and don't want to think about anything else because they are exhausted between work and kids. And so I'm so grateful that my parents gave me the opportunity to not have to be exhausted and that I can walk in creativity and just begin to work on some things. But I want to say this, that even if you're in that position, that there has to be a sacrifice if you want change, because if you keep doing the same things, you get the same results. And so there's going to have to be a shift so that it can be different. And it might take, you know, really, we have YouTube. You can say, I'm going to dedicate 10 minutes a day and I'm going to start searching on learning about a topic, investing or sales, or I'm going to learn about something within the short amount of time each day. That's the thing. It didn't have to take all your time, which is the cool thing about maybe selling a product. And it doesn't even have to be a product you make that you sell. So yeah. If there are no more comments on this, I'm going to go ahead and play the last video so we can wrap it up.
You got to have a plan. Everybody's got a dream. Everybody's got a goal. What's the plan? And your plan has got to have something I call the C5 complex. Your plan has got to be clear, concise, compelling, consistent, and committed. You got to have a plan. And when you're trying to do something that you're truly passionate about, there is no plan B. Plan B sucks. You got to have a plan. I mean, think about that for a second. 3 examples. Michael Jordan won 6 NBA championships with the Chicago Bulls because he was committed to plan A, not plan B. Oprah Winfrey became the queen of all media because she was committed to plan A, not plan B. Whatever your politics are, Barack Obama is sitting in the White House because he was committed to plan A, not plan B. Plan B sucks.
That's our final video. That motivated me. What do y'all think?
Wow, that's interesting. Wow, that's that's interesting. That's interesting right there. He don't really give you that option to say, okay, if I fail. Mm-hmm. He said, no, you go into it with a plan. I don't doubt it.
I kind of disagree just a little bit. And the reason why is plan B could be a portion of or incorporated into plan A. For instance, if selling my product through Facebook, because there are ads on Facebook, doesn't work for me, well, plan B is to sell my product on YouTube. So it's still, the first part of the plan is to sell my product, but it's the ways that I'm going to approach it or the ways I'm going to do it that I might have to alter. So there may be some instances in which you have to have plan B. For instance, the young lady I spoke about with the flowers and the arts and crafts. Plan A was to set up a storefront. Well, coronavirus changed that. So she went to plan B, which was to sell them through YouTube or wherever it was that she put them, and then to not just sit in a storefront, but to sit in front of a computer screen and conduct workshops and things like that. So it was a plan B, but it was a continuation of the original goal. So the goal wasn't changed, just the method.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
let me say this. Let me say this, just in terms, and I'll put something out there before I start to keep this in perspective. I'm a plan B, plan P, plan C person. I'm always continuing to try to figure out, if this doesn't work, what am I going to do next? And in sitting here and trying to keep an open mind and see how I can think differently, the thing that jumped out at me is, man, when I'm working on plan B and plan C, it's taken away from the time I could be putting into plan A. And that's all that I had. So as I'm really rethinking this, I was like, interesting. So could I be better at the plan A if I wasn't spending so much time consumed in plan B and plan C?
Yeah, and I think
I
Oprah.
I'll go real quick. When I saw it as the ultimate plan was something a bit broader and just not giving up on that ultimate goal. So I didn't really see like changing, because I had totally changed methods, like different careers, but I still consider myself as going for the ultimate plan, which is to create financial freedom for my family, to be able to have more time and flexibility, and not to be chained because of the lack of financial. So mine was financial freedom was, so I kind of see, like, for example, I do mortgages, and sometimes things shift and appraisal comes back low. And my ultimate plan is to still help that client move forward with their goal, but I have to come up with a different way we're going to make that happen because of something that has shifted in the process for whatever reason. So I looked at that no plan B as in not giving up on your goals and your dreams. Maybe the way you get them is different, but not giving up on them.
So I think the dancer, I think as we talk about making money, I'm gonna do a quote from the dancer in the Players Club. She told the OG dancer told a young dancer, told her to make the money and don't let the money make her. And I think that when we are talking about ways to make money, we have to keep everything in perspective. Because there's a scripture that says, what does it profit a person to gain the whole world and lose their soul? And so as we're talking about ways to make money, we don't want to put ourselves, well, we made all this money, but now our relationship with our children sucks. We made all this money. Now I'm on my third marriage. I made all that money. So I think in the process of making the money, which there's nothing negative about it, but focus on making the money, learn how to make the money, and don't allow the money to make you.
That's real good. And that goes back to that first video. He was like, you get tired. It ain't worth it if you can't have time with if you can't have a relationship with your family. Like, one of the things for me is I was thinking, like, I could make more money if I worked more, but I don't want to work. Like, I want to eat dinner with my kids every night. I want to, like, family time is really important to me. So because of that, I started thinking, okay, this is great, but I got to figure out some other ways I can make money that's not going to be coming up with my time. And that's why I wanted to talk about this subject tonight, because I feel like I'm probably not the only one who feels like I want to make money, but I still want to, rest. I still want to spend time with my children. I want to put God first and not do something that's not glorifying to him just for the money.
And I think in the end, you can't run away from preparation and planning and studying and learning. And so even in my field as a pastor of a church, okay, you have to have income that comes in order to do the ministry. You know, we just delivered a wonderful check to Lake Forest Elementary School this week. We just blessed a whole bunch of homeless residents. You know, we're doing things, but it takes money. We just gave away groceries. It was all in 1 week, those things. But it takes money to do that kind of stuff. But the one thing that I do in ministry is to understand that those things are the most important things. The money, you need the money to do those things. And so now study people. What makes people feel good about giving to a ministry? And I think, you know, you have some, you know, more traditional people that give, you know, just because it's, you know, it's what the church needs. But you have other people give because of what the church does. And so I've always really focused on the doing. And then when it came to the money, let what you're asking for be biblically sound. You know, not that you're creating gimmicks to try to do these wonderful things, but you know, people have a good mind on their shoulders. So yeah, but I developed that through looking and seeing what's worked in ministries, what doesn't work, reading research and stuff like that, seeing, you know, what people have to say about giving. And then once doing that work, now structure your ministry in a way that people love to give, but because but they're also free to do the things that make people want to give, which is the work of giving to our community and investing in our community. And so it doesn't matter what area you're in, you still have, if it's nonprofit, for-profit, whatever it is, you still have to do the homework and the research to figure out how to bring in these resources to make whatever the difference it is, whether it's to be a blessing in your community or to be a blessing to your legacy.
Yeah. And today, from all the comments, the takeaways that I'm getting from this is to plan, to study, and to count the costs. You know, really just count the costs and think everything through. So I just want to say that tonight was not necessarily to hone in on a specific idea of making money, but it was just to provoke the thought and to inspire people who are watching to know that, hey, there are ways that you can increase yourself financially outside of getting a second job or outside of overtime, and that there is opportunity out there for you. So I just want to say thank you to everybody for joining in on the conversation. And something that I want to ask is, if anybody tonight comes up with an idea and you see some success from it, go ahead, leave a review and comment and say, hey, I went to this workshop, it inspired me and I did this. Like, we want to hear like maybe what comes from this, the success stories. We want to hear it. And you could even share if you go to gbgville.com. We have like a financial wellness group. We would love to hear your success stories, questions, sharing ideas, and just being able to keep this conversation going. Who knows, you might find somebody in the group who's where you want to be, and you could get some insight as well on that topic.
Well, wonderful. Once again, I think you did an amazing job. We're just trying to make sure we minister to the whole person with our financial wellness ministry. And so Kiera, who's also my daughter, I'm very proud of you. You did a wonderful job. And our community is paying attention. We're listening. And if there's just one person that's encouraged to make just that's been empowered to make some moves that improves their financial health, I think it was all for a good cause. And so everybody that participated, even those that just listened, we thank you so much for participating. Those that are on Facebook, thank you so much. And we're here every third Tuesday of the month at 7:00 p.m. The man talked about consistency. The one thing you're gonna get from Greater Bethel is consistency. If we say we're gonna be here, we're gonna be here. And this ministry right here is to help people out with their financial wellness. And so thanks for coming. God bless you. And we look forward to seeing you next week. Have a great day.